Hello everyone, welcome to the Code Worms. So today what we're going to do is we're going to do the program number 17, that is letter combinations of a phone number. Now what this program basically say is in the letters of a phone number, like the old phones that you had. So now 2 will be mapped to A, B, C, 3 will be mapped to D, E, F, 4 will be mapped to G, H, I, and they will be giving us a particular combination as input. So like say 2, 3. So what essentially could this combination of 2, 3 mean? It could mean A for 2 and D for 3 and so on. So the method that we're going to use here today will be a backtracking method because it is obviously the easiest method. And why are we using the backtracking method? Well, if we look at it this way, that this is a form where 2 is mapped to say A, D, and E, and then we have 3 which is mapped, I'm so sorry, 2 is mapped to A, B, and C, and we have 3 which is mapped to D, E, and F. So A, which is 2, A will have 3 options, that is D, E, and F, and so on, right? So this is a reason why we see that we have to keep going back to the initial node. Hence, we're using the concept of backtrack. A problem that we'd taken, we had 2 and we had 3, right? Now, if we look at the map properly, 2 refers to A, B, and C. And then we have 3, which refers to D, E, and F. So this is basically my mapping. Now first we have the letter 2. For the letter 2, we can have options such as A, we have B, and we can have C. Now for 2, then comes our letter E, 3, right? So for 3, A will have how many options? It will have 3 options, that is D, E, and F. Therefore, what is happening is, let us travel to A, that is our first option. Then we will go to D, right? Once we go to D, we will come back to A again, right? So that we can come to E one more time. So this entire thing is what we talk about in backtracking. Similarly, after this is over, like A and D, then the length of the digits have ended and we go back to A again and we have E and then we have F. After all the 3 combinations are exhausted, what other combinations can there be? B. Now, how many will B have? B will also have 3 options. So we keep going back to the original node. And after all the options of this has been exhausted, we go back to the main node. This entire process of backtracking is what we're going to understand in today's program. Right. So now that you understood the concept of backtracking, now we can continue with our program. So the first thing that we have to do is we need to create a data structure where we will be storing all this information. As to we will be mapping what relates to what. So like 2 would relate to ABC, right? So similarly, so the best data structure to use for such a situation will obviously be maps. So and then we put all the required information in this. Now we have to create a list where we will be storing all the combinations, right? So this is basically our structure. Now what we need to create is we need to create a function which will be backtracking to give us the actual result. And what are we passing through that? We are passing the combination, that is the combination of the words we get, and we will be passing the next digit. So this will be giving us the next digit that is required and the combination that is currently present. Now what we're going to do is we're going to check if there are any more digits left or not. Because if we are going to be doing a recursive, then it is essential that we know when this is going to end, right? So once we have our entire combination, then we can put it in the list. If it doesn't end, then what we're going to do is we are first going to get the digit that we're talking about. Now, why am I using substring instead of caret is because I want to keep my number in strings because it will help me later on. This is the number that we are going to deal with. And this combination is going to be the letters related to that particular number. Right. So what do we have to do basically after this is we need to traverse through the letters, right? So if say we have two, then my letters are A, B, C, and we have to take one of the letters at a time. So obviously we're going to make a loop which will be traversing through this. Now what we're going to do is we need this has my initial, this has my particular letter that we're talking about, right? So to do so, what do? We again call all the letters and I'm sorry, and what do? I take one letter at a time. And what do I do with that? I call my backtrack function again and I send my combination of words along with the letter that we have extracted. And what do we send? The next number. This is why I had kept it in strings instead of changing it to character. It will give the rest of my number. So I have got my backtrack and this will keep on happening till I get all my combinations. So if my digits is not 0, that is if I have valid digits, what do? I simply call backtrack because this is a recursive function which is finally going to give me all the combinations that are possible. And what do I send? Obviously the initial combination, which is nothing, and the digits itself. And what do I return? I return my output, that is my list. So let us run this. And this is accepted. Now if we submit the code, thank you. Please stay tuned to the code worms for more such codes. If you want to do any codes for you or to make you understand any codes which you're having trouble with, please do write it in the comments and do subscribe. Thank you.